Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Hello, good friends. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your practice. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu. That's what I'm going to address today. Should be simple, but in today's world, we have a lot of bad teachers, and it's become a controversial thing to talk about. And one particular organization and its offshoots have taken to the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha, Tendai, Dengyo, Nichiren, all of the Nagarjuna, all of the scholarship of Buddhism, and they've decided that Nichiren, to whom they propose to be dedicated, he should have recited the Daimoku differently, because today we use shortcuts, and so we're going to use a shortcut. What? Who the hell are you? We're supposed to be practicing Nichiren's Buddhism. And this debate, unfortunately, surrounds these two characters of the Daimoku. Nichiren repeated. How many Gosho have you read? Even the Gosho that those organizations purport to support and even are involved in the publications of, Nichiren constantly refers to the 5 or 7 characters of the Daimoku. Why the or? Why 5 or 7? So I hope I settle this today with my short discussion on NaMu and why both characters are vital to our practice of Lotus Sutra Buddhism. Certainly by our mentor and leader, Bodhisattva Nichiren, in our correct practice of Shakyamuni's Lotus method. If you can, take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps grow our Sangha. It's a Bodhisattva act, so thank you. Thank you in advance for doing that. NaMu. I have 4 I hate to use the word description. It's not really what they are. I came up with a good word for this a few videos ago, and I've forgotten it now. But at any rate, 4 bullet points. Resolve to be fully present. Resolve to be fully attentive. Resolved to invoke, and resolved to receive. Now, you have heard, certainly you've heard me, and you repeat this word resolve many, many, many times. And it's very easy to go through the Gosho and quote examples of Nichiren talking about your conviction, that you can awaken your Buddha-ness with your strength of conviction alone, your strong mind, your dedication, your determination, so all these words, very contemporary thinking. But today, I not only am going to point that out, you've heard it many, many times, but I'm going to demonstrate to you where Nichiren comes up, because he didn't invent it. Nichiren just contemporized it. But I'm going to show you from Shakyamuni's teachings where he derives this resolve, this exhortation for you and I to have a commitment, a conviction. You hear me talking about it all the time. You see it in all of the Gosho. So where does that come from? Did Nichiren just come up with that? Like, that's the key? All right, here we go. To be present is not enough. To be listening is not enough. To own the effort of becoming and to be committed and demand with the expectation for success to invoke our Buddha-ness. This is the attitude of commanding the Samsaric mind to step aside as we bring into being the Buddha mind of awakening. If you've been listening to this channel, this is all familiar to you, yeah? To bring about the open eye of GoHonzon and experience the manifested three bodies of Buddha. The clarity of the truth of all phenomena in each moment to moment of life. This is NaMu. Now, knowing this, I've heard all this before, Sifu. The three bodies of Buddhas, that goes beyond Nichiren, right? That's into Shakyamuni's sutras. So now let's take a look at what Shakyamuni says about this. Throughout the voluminous teachings of Buddhism, we encounter stories of those for whom the opportunity to hear any teachings of enlightenment from Buddha, whether personage or mind, right, in these stories that go back into ancient times, 27 centuries ago, Shakyamuni had an audience, I've talked about this before, of very mystically, magically inclined minds of the Indian continent at the time. Lots of deities and forces, most of which, all of which, they felt controlled their lives rather than them having any agency in their lives. Agency stripped away from the people. To this day, it drives the caste system, right? We can't have you thinking you'll ever be anything more than what you are. No, we got to control you. India is still that way. And so Shakyamuni is trying to teach these people the nature of commitment. What do they know of commitment? They just take orders. They just do what they're told. Certainly they have some idea of commitment. Certainly it causes unrest in the people. But culturally speaking, what do they know of commitment? Other than just being good order takers and followers of their destiny, right? Shakyamuni had a tremendous resistance to what he was trying to teach and inculcate their capacity to understand, right? So he used stories with a tremendous amount of hyperbole because that was the only way to reach these people's minds. And in those stories of hyperbole, as we'll see here, when I say teachings of enlightenment from Buddha, we understand that that's our enlightenment, our awakening that's inculcating in our minds. We're listening to our own awakening. But to these people, Buddha was this man. And so these stories set up these stories of encountering Buddha, whether it's a personage or the mind. For them, certainly a personage. And the golden words of Buddha, or Shakyamuni, if you will. People thought if they just heard a single word, a sentence, that they could transcend their lowly human existence, samsara, and just have a taste, a flavor of liberation from suffering. What's that like? What would it be like to see the world, experience the world from Buddha? What would that be like? Just a little bit, right? The stories, lots of stories about this. And what would they do in exchange for that immense privilege? They would gladly offer their body in exchange. Right? Now, these are, again, it's hyperbole, but these are stories that we tend, modern people, to think of as literally. And so when we read about the medicine king burning his flesh, or others removing their tongues, or various other corporeal offerings to hear but a word on enlightenment, right? The guy who ripped off his skin so he could take notes on his flesh. Of course these are hyperbole. Of course these are fables. But don't miss the point here. What Shakyamuni was talking about is the depth of commitment. Understanding that the human form, the samsaric physical body, is but a vehicle for the mind. So what are we doing with that mind? That's the central point. And if we're to awaken that mind, we need to understand that that's the purpose of life, the purpose of our life. The purpose of a sentient mind is to understand that the enlightenment, the awakening of the entire process of all phenomena is by far the most amazing, profound, and the reason for existing as a sentient mind. That's the most important thing, that to be attached to the pleasures and sensations of the flesh, the samsaric life, the only reason for it is to support the sentient mind. So the primary objective of the mind is to awaken, not to support this fleshy carcass. That doesn't mean you set yourself on fire. That doesn't mean you strip this flesh from you and that enlightens you. It's about your commitment. It's about the level of conviction you have in awakening and enlightenment. And you can drag all this other stuff along, but understand what's priority. And isn't that what Nichiren is always talking about? He doesn't use those hyperboles because we're modern people. We don't need to think about those gruesome tales in order to get the point. But they're all there. That's what supports what Nichiren is teaching. I'll go on here in the book. Of course, these are examples of hyperbole. Extreme as these examples are, they stand out in that they illustrate two repeated aspects of our practice in awakening the GoHonzon mind. These imperatives are embodied for Nichiren in the two characters of Na and Mu. Two characters. Na can be understood as the very human physical being that each of us experiences in samsara. Mu, the perception, the engagement with this physical experience, that is the mind's identification and potential witnessing of the process. Right? There's the body and the purpose for the body, the mind which emerges from it to see. For Nichiren, it is this very invocation of our willing transcendence from bodily clinging and cravings, our offerings, to our total commitment of mental attention to the Buddha that need preface our reception of that Buddha mind state. This is an opening of the eye of GoHonzon for the single purpose of enlightenment. This is NaMu. Followed immediately with the Daimoku of the Lotus Sutra, we take control of our samsaric monkey mind of attachments, clinging, and distractions to transmigrate our awareness to the true reality of the engine of life, the priori of the process of living and all living beings, sentient and non-sentient, Buddha. This is Myoho Renge Kyo. This is the law. This is the process. This is the engine of life. The far more amazing, important focus, raison d'être of our mind is to observe the totality of the engine of life and our concurrent, concomitant participation, engagement in it, and how then appreciative we can be of that body, right? The three bodies. One of the three bodies is this physical body, because without it, we wouldn't have a sentient mind. But it is the priority of that sentient mind to know the body's proper place in the hierarchy. We're extremely thankful that we have this rare opportunity for such a brief time of existing through this support system, this apparatus, which, when you think of the body that way, as I've also said before, it doesn't end with your toes and fingertips, because your body only exists within the realms of the plants and air we breathe, the food we eat, the sex we have to maintain this physical being, the earth, the solar system. Keep going. Because, as I've pointed out again, the manifest body of Buddha is the universe. And the Dharma body of the universe is our sentient awareness, which we awaken through the Daimoku. And so Nichiren he encompassed, much better word, the teachings of Shakyamuni with the invocation NaMu, which run throughout Shakyamuni's teachings, albeit through hyperbole, illustrating our complete commitment to enlightenment, to Myoho Renge Kyo, to the engine of life, to the witnessing of the process that is all phenomena. NaMu Myoho Renge Kyo. NaMu all potential instantiating, I get it, Buddha. How many ways can we say this? It's important to understand that the importance of the two characters, Na and Mu, as these two aspects of transcending, transmigration of our mind's awareness from samsara to Buddha-ness. It's important because you know, as well as anyone else, that no matter how much commitment a human being appears to make, or even believes they are making, we are easily derailed. And the only reason our minds can be derailed is because we aren't fully committed. That's why Nichiren harps on this all the time. You can't simply mouth the words or the characters or the sounds and think that's it. It's not that you're wasting your time, but you are not taking advantage of the power you have with your mind to experience, to invoke, to actually alter your existence from moment to moment to moment to moment. That kind of commitment, that's why the hyperbole. Would you, if it came down to it, be able to take a razor blade, put a few slits in your arm, and peel off some skin if you knew it meant that the rest of your life was going to be spent in awakened enlightenment, understanding, knowing? Would you have that kind of resolve? It's kind of a mental switch you have to flip, isn't it? I remember when I used to teach martial arts, I talked about this switch all the time, not directly as related to Buddhism, but in other ways we do it all the time. How many times, especially you ladies, how many times have you flipped that switch where you've taken far too much abuse from your partner and flipped the switch of, this is what love is? And men do it too. But it's folklore for women, isn't it? We flip these switches in our mind all the time, seemingly with ease, but the consequences are immense, right? So this is Shakyamuni telling you. Tendai talking about concentration and insight. Nichiren talking about, here's the engine of life. Invoke it, but invoke it with the presence and the commitment to own it. NaMu Myoho Renge Kyo. Don't just mouth it. Be it. Be Buddha-ness. NaMu Myoho Renge Kyo. Those are two powerful characters. So I wouldn't be so flippant to say, well, we don't need to say them both. Well, why don't you just go chant broomstick then? NaMu Myoho Renge Kyo. That is the 7 characters Nichiren constantly reminds us of. Chant the 7 characters NaMu Myoho Renge Kyo. That's the practice. Plain and simple. I hope that helps you understand. I hope that helps your conviction. Once again, that is the purpose of this channel, the purpose of the website, all of the free information available there, the podcasts if they help, the ebooks available on threefoldlotus.com ebook, the home/ebooks HTML page, many of which are available on Lulu, but the print books is mainly what the Lulu bookstore is for. Links on the website. Links also in the description of this video. Those books are there to remove doubt, help you in your pursuit of this conviction, this resolve of opening your Buddha-ness, yes? They also help support this effort of mine to provide books and the website and the podcasts, and everything costs, right? And those of you who are patrons, who have regularly supported financially through Patreon and PayPal. And once again, I have to remind all of us how grateful we are for your bodhisattva efforts, yeah? I'm grateful for your practice. For that, most of all. NaMu Myoho Renge Kyo. Be well, be kind to yourself, take care of your health, and I'll see you in the next one, okay? NaMu Myoho Renge Kyo. Bye for now.